Lead story from Monday, March 10th. A shocking new whistleblower complaint reveals that Meta, formerly Facebook, went to extreme lengths to gain access to the Chinese market, even agreeing to censorship demands from the Chinese Communist Party. According to former global policy director Sarah Wynne Williams, the company developed a censorship system, a tool which allowed suppressed dissident voices to be silenced and planned to allow the CCCP to oversee content moderation. The complaint filed with the SEC accuses Meta of misleading investors and regulators about its China dealings. I dive into the explosive allegations and what they mean for the future of big tech and global free speech. Welcome to episode 1805. Hey, I want to get into this a little bit before we get too deep into the show. But this is just crazy. This Washington Post report that is out and online and being reported all over the place, including Slashdot, basically saying Meta was willing to go to extreme lengths to censor content and shut down political dissent. They were willing to play ball with the Chinese. Said for many years, Meta has been working hand in glove with the Chinese Communist Party, briefing them on the latest tech developments and lying about it. Reached for a comment, Meta's spokesperson Andy Stone told the Washington Post it was no secret they'd been interested in operating in China. This was widely reported beginning a decade ago. We ultimately opted not to go through with the ideas we explored, which Zuckerberg announced in 2019, although the Post shares no details about what a Facebook privacy policy staffer offered China in negotiations in 2014. Again, in exchange for the ability to establish operations in China, Facebook would agree to grant the Chinese government access to Chinese users' data, including Hong Kong users as well. This is just beyond disturbing, and it really follows a trend and something that I saw that is semi-related over the weekend. There's this YouTube series out. China. There's some channels. China Observer, China Uncensored. There's a number of YouTube channels that really talk about what China has done and what they are doing in regards to, basically putting pressure on people that are reporting negatively on China. This uncensored live, which is an hour 11 minutes long, is a worthy watch for those of you that want to have a better understanding on what's going on, because purportedly YouTube is now basically downranking any negative China content. And what China is embarking on is a PR plan, or basically go out there and, provide positive China messaging through sponsorships of travel channels and a whole bunch of other things. It's quite eye-opening that channels that have been talking about China in a negative way are now with millions of views, with videos that in those channels get 800,000 views per episode, that have millions of subscribers, has fallen off the map on YouTube and can no longer be found, just because they talk negatively and they talk about what really happens in China and the things that are going on. It's also being reported that China is investing heavily in SEM search results so that these sponsored junkets, these folks that have been paid to come in and have storylines that they're almost fed to them word from word, end up being higher in rank. So China has a long play here, a very, very long play. They want to put forward a China positive face versus a China negative face, of course. And they're putting dollars behind that. But the question I would ask all of you, obviously Meta did not continue with their conversation with basically giving the Chinese government, the communist government, access to a tool to silence dissidents, remove threads, et cetera, et cetera. But why is YouTube now, which they say technically they don't have an issue, just people not as interested in this content, which I doubt, why are they downranking any negative Chinese news while at the same time promoting China positive content? It makes one question. And again, it goes back to something I've been saying for a very, very long time is that really the only place that you're going to find censorship free content that cannot be manipulated, cannot be downranked is podcast. If you're subscribed to a podcast, um, you're going to get the content that you want delivered to you at the time that you want on demand. And you're not going to have to worry about a YouTube agenda or a Facebook agenda driving down content. Um, Creators at some point will need to wake up and understand that these platforms do not have their best interest in hand. So, with that, we'll get into the rest of the show. I want to welcome you to episode 1805. Of course, I'm your host, Todd Cochran. A shout out to our incredible sponsor at GoDaddy. Score exclusive deals and discounts at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. And to all of you, our listeners, you're the heartbeat of this show. We're not yet lit and live. The cable that I ordered was the wrong one, so that'll be reordered the correct one. So we'll hopefully have that here in a few days. But if you are listening to shows live, you can do that by grabbing a modern podcast app at podcastapps.com. And of course, you can check out the full Geek News Central universe at geeknewscentral.com, where you'll find all of our partner shows and tons of new content. And of course, stay in the loop. Follow or subscribe via your favorite podcast app. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter. The newsletter is available on the website at geeknewscentral.com for even more insider scoops. And of course, you can join the conversation at geeknews.chat or email me geeknews@gmail.com. And you can hit me up on X at Geek News if it's online. And you can even catch me on Facebook. That's the important thing. And of course, if you're a Geek News Central listener here, we're going to want to save you some money. And to do so, it's very, very simple. And if you're ready to save, GoDaddy has some fantastic deals. Get exclusive savings here at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Let's start with a website or a podcast. GNC codes make it easy and affordable. Grab GoDaddy's economy hosting for just $6.99. That's a full year of hosting with a free domain name, professional email, and an SSL certificate. And of course, if you love WordPress like you do, like I do, my favorite, WordPress managed hosting is just $12.99 a month, which includes a free domain, professional email, and a managed SSL certificate. Of course, if you just need a domain name, you can grab one for $11.99. We have GoDaddy website builder available as well. You can get a free 30-day trial on that. Personal business or business plus plans. Of course, Geek News Central uses all the GoDaddy products and services, and your support keeps this podcast alive. Use our codes, click and save, and you're really backing this independent team of creators. Share my codes or website link with friends and family, because every time the code is used, it supports Geek News Central. And thank you for keeping us online and going strong. Again, thank you to GoDaddy for being a sponsor here at Geek News Central. So, before we get into the rest of the stack here, my little hub that I ordered showed up. So now I have the ability to very easily switch back and forth with a touch of a button, or I bought one of the Elgato foot switches that allows me just to tap my foot and I can change the view that those of you watching the show live can do so. So a little more handy from um, a switching standpoint and managing the show. So still having some little itty bitty learning curves with OBS, in specifically having glitching audio from time to time, and I'm not quite sure what the deal on that is, but we'll continue to work at it. All right, everyone. So let's get into the stack here. Yeah, it was a good weekend, but otherwise, my sleeping is a challenge. Well, I'm working uh, nights and having everything flip 12 hours and then at least being able to have some semblance of being able to eat at a normal time here. I tell you, I'm having a little more challenge than I have in the past in switching over to the new schedule. So, anyway, doing the best I can. Working days has its advantages, but not in the situation I can do right now. Well, a little more news on the Chinese front. A hidden feature, quote unquote, was found in a Chinese made Bluetooth chip. That this Bluetooth chip is installed in hundreds of millions of IoT devices. So, this hidden feature, although a malicious actor could access a device and sensitive data through this hidden feature, and it's kind of tech radar. I'm a little disappointed. It sure to me smells like something that was put there on purpose. But cybersecurity researchers have claimed that the ESP32 chips, which allow connectivity via Wi Fi or Bluetooth, have hidden commands not documented by the manufacturer. Those commands would allow modifying the chips arbitrarily to unlock additional features, infecting these chips with a malicious code, and even carrying out attacks of identity theft of devices. So the ESP32 chip is built by a quote unquote Chinese semiconductor company in Shanghai called Espressif. It costs approximately $2 per unit, and according to the manufacturer, has been sold 8 billion times from its inception in 2023. Said its affordability is one of the main reasons. Well, maybe it's backed by Chinese government. They first described the finding as a backdoor, but later backtracked on that terminology. Said, we'd like to clarify that it's more appropriate to refer to the presence of proprietary commands which allow operations such as reading and modifying memory in the controller as a hidden feature rather than a backdoor. Still, threat actors could use these commands to run supply chain attacks, hide backdoors in the chipset, or execute more sophisticated attacks. Harlock added they could impersonate known devices to connect to mobile phones, computers, and smart devices even when they're offline. So the company has not responded to this. What say you? Chinese backdoor into Wi Fi and Bluetooth and IoT devices? I would not be surprised. Call me a conspiracy theorist. Big outage over at X. They've been going under a massive cyber attack. Twitter's been going down. I did not see it here. I was on and off X all day. But some of you may have seen this, but Elon Musk basically said that they've had a huge, huge outage. The first outage occurred on 2:30 a.m. Pacific time, with a further, more significant spike in reports around 7 a.m. And Elon says there's a massive cyber attack going against X, said company. we've got attacked. We get attacked every day, but this was with a lot of resources. Either a large coordinated group and or a country is involving. So I'm not surprised. Um, more generally, a number of major internet has caused significant disruption over the past year. We know that Slack went down a few weeks ago. We know that CrowdStrike issue that happened with flights and so forth. So these cyber attacks per se, and this one in particular seems to be pretty big. Now, if you use Zelly, Chase will soon block certain Zelly charges, and here's what you need to know. They're cracking down on social media scams with its new Zelly policy, and I think we've seen this in other device or other banks do this as well. Zelly and digital payment apps such as Venmo, Cash App make it easy for scammers to get your money. And many scammers target people on social media. According to Chase, nearly 50% of fraud reports that received between June of 2024 and December 31st came from the media, with $870 million lost through Zelly payments since the app launched in 2017. So with this new policy, Chase hopes to start it fraud before it happens. And its updated Zelly service agreement will allow it to decline or block payments it believes are originated on social media. The bank may also delay or hold payments so it can request information from you to authenticate the transaction. So here I use an app called PaySend to pay my bills and send money, and I've recently been having trouble with it. It's tied to my debit card, and my bank is currently working on the issue. Hasn't been an issue up to this date, but all of a sudden, boom, it just started happening. And so my bank seems to know what's going on, even though the transactions weren't declined. It's something part of the process. So be careful out there. Hey, NVIDIA and Tesla have been slammed over the stock market today. A lot of uncertainty going on with the tariffs, causing investors to be skittish, but all the big ones were down. NVIDIA, Tesla, Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, Apple, and Microsoft all fell, with Tesla falling a whopping 15% to lead losses. And 5 of the 7 mega cap names also saw drops of 4%. Only Microsoft was down 3.3 and Amazon down 2.3. So, I think there's going to be more of this as new policies put in place, and things will even out over time. Google's Pixel 4a update was due to battery overheating. So if you remember this, Google didn't explain exactly why it shipped a mandatory software update for the Pixel 4, which is basically a very early Android phone. But the nature of the update gave some models all but unstable battery life, provided some clues, as did later software analysis. But now Australian authorities have provided a more concrete answer, and their safety arm has issued a recall for the Pixel 4a last week. The reason, the commission said, is that Google's firmware update and battery changes serve to mitigate the risk of overheating, because an overheating battery could pose a risk of fire, but they're recalling that. So this is something where Google kind of thread the needle here, and basically, they've said at this point, hey, it seems to be bad enough, we should recall the phone. So there's a good article, little H2O here, folks, sorry, by Ron Wyden. And that name should be familiar. Ron Wyden says why the internet still needs Section 230. And there's been a lot of debate about Section 230 and whether it should be revoked and whether it should be amended. And its controversy has crossed multiple administrations at this point. But, it's been fashionable to blame nearly all the internet's ills on Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act. Everyone from the president to some Democratic folks have argued that Section 230 has let major platforms moderate too much or too little. Here's the deal: if you're a privately held platform, you should be able to do whatever you want within your terms of service. And people have to understand where they want to hang out. People don't like censorship. We just talked about what Facebook was going to do with China. That's their choice if they decide to do that, and they have to live with the ramifications of what they do. But I think, in the most part, companies like mine have benefited from Section 230. We look at media when it's being reported that there's concerning content, and but we don't have to basically go through and monitor. That would be very difficult and very expensive to do that. We have to think about when Section 230 came online, there was only about 20 million people that had internet because it was written in 1995. So, and also the Communication Act of 1934 was being rewritten. So, I don't know where you may think about Section 230. It's good and bad at the same point, but he contends that Section 230 is still needed. What do you say? What do you think in that regard when it comes to Section 230? Geeknews@gmail.com. A lot of people are complaining about Apple Intelligence and attributing it to, is Apple Intelligence the new Apple Maps? And, Apple Maps, when it first came out, did not have that good of a run. They had some challenges in those early days. And I think now most of us know that Apple Maps are pretty good. But I don't think this spells doom or gloom for Apple that they're behind in AI. Why? There's lots of tools out there, lots and lots of tools. And do we need AI on our smartphones at this point? I don't think so. But people are in a feeding frenzy right now and want more in regards to AI. And I think it can be a little bit concerning here, um, that they want to push Apple to have deeper intelligence at this point on their phones. I don't think Apple's going to get hurt on these delays in contextual AI development. I don't think it's going to dilute Apple's brand. I think people buy Apple because of the devices, not because of AI. So I don't know. To me, I can use ChatGPT, I can use Claude, I can use Perplexity, I can use a large number of AI tools on my Mac without needing Apple Intelligence. My Mac still works, does everything it needs. I'm not impacted by this. So I don't necessarily agree with the author's contention here that this is going to set Apple back. Now, we know that Apple's smart home hub has reportedly been postponed due to AKA the Siri slowdown, giving advantage to Alexa. But again, I don't need Alexa Plus to live my life. The hub has to be, or Alexa Plus has to have some function that really makes me go, wow, I can't live without this. And I don't think I'm at that point. What say you? What do you think is giving you an advantage? What is tactically making it worth $20 a month to have Alexa Plus? Has anyone done that? Has anyone bought it? I'll say that the OpenAI Pro for me up to this point has been pretty well worth it. Am I getting a full $200 value out of it? I don't know. We'll see at the end of the month. On a more fun topic, there's a 2,000 piece Mario Kit Lego set available. And if you are a Lego fan or Mario Kart fan, it looks like this is a must have for those of you that are looking for this. It's $170. And what does it look like? I guess that's the front. Yeah, they didn't put a picture of what it looks like, but it's the Mario and standard cart set. Again, available for pre order and depicts Mario on his iconic red and blue cart. So that gives you a little bit of an answer of what this Lego set is going to be. If you're a Chromecast user, some of you are getting increasingly angry about a weird untrusted device bug. So if you have an early version of the Chromecast, specifically second gen, they're preventing these devices from casting normally. In other words, throwing something to the screen. As reported by 9 to 5 and Android Authority, the bug surfaced over the last few days, throwing a couple of error messages. So, these devices are cheap enough that if you're having problems with a second gen, which is launched in 2015, go out and grab yourself another Chromecast. They're not very expensive at all. Of course, lots of doom and gloom articles about what's going to happen with the tariffs, and they're saying expect pain at the cash register. PC Insider weighs on the tariffs. We all know that we're going to see increases in prices. This is well known. We're going to see a jump. It won't be as bad as people think in some cases, and maybe worse than others. So I warned all of you to go out if you had a big purchase coming to make sure you grab that early so that you could get it from available inventory and not be impacted. I'd really like to hear from all of you when you start seeing increases in prices is something that's affecting you. Let me know. I really want to know. Again, more outages. A major Oracle outage has hit U.S. federal health record system. This was going on for about 5 hours. 6 Veteran Affairs hospitals were affected. DoD, U.S. Coast Guard, and NOAA also affected by the downtime. VA plans to use federal EHR in even more sites, so hopefully they get these outages figured out. In the sign of the times, Google paid out $12 million via their bug bounty programs in 2024. I know that we probably paid out several $1,000s in bug bounties. Nothing like $12 million worth of bounties being paid, but it does show you that they're getting quite a few significant bugs to pay that much money out. At the same time, the Department of Justice latest proposal wants Google to cut Chrome loose. Google is they're tangled in this antitrust mess. And, since a judge ruled last year that it unfairly dominated the online search market. So the current actions are looking like they want Google to sell off its web browser and maybe even Android. A group of 38 state attorneys have teamed up to file the updated proposal laying out the final steps to break Google's illegal stranglehold on the search engine market. In its latest filings, it says arguing that forcing Google to sell Chrome would break the grip on a key search gateway, opening it for real competition. You really want to fix this? Make them bust out Google Ads. That's where the real competition is. But I guess the browser is a first step. They have such a domination in online advertising. It's really, really difficult. I don't know if you've opened up any of your DVDs recently, but it might be a good idea to take a look at your inventory. If you have DVDs that just been sitting on the shelf, they're having what's called disc rot, and basically DVDs that are getting older are starting to have playback issues. So if you have a Warner Brother disc that were released in 2006 and 2008, just be aware that you could get a replacement if they are still making the release. Otherwise, you might be just kind of screwed here. In a statement shared by movie site Joe Below, that's Joblo. I'm not kidding. That's what it's called. Warner Brothers said it's aware of potential issues affecting select DVD titles, and the company has been actively working with consumers to replace defective disc. Where possible, defective discs have been replaced with the same title. However, some of the affected titles are no longer in print, or rights to expired consumers have been offered exchange for a title of like value. So you can contact them at whv@wbd.com. So take a look at your disc out there and see if you've got any disc rot or discs that are not playing well. For NASA astronauts on a 10-day space mission that lasted 9 months, a landing date is in sight. So they've been up there since June 5th, and they're going to be coming back. What is the date? Is it announced what the return date is? We knew it was going to be in March to begin with. Yeah, they don't actually call out the exact date that they're coming back, but very, very soon. Why would they write the article and not actually put the date out on when they're going to return? It's kind of funny, yeah, that they would do that. So link will be in the show notes. That was really effective. Wow, killed the punchline. It's being reported that agentic AI has profound issues with security and privacy, Signal president says. Which is very interesting that they would announce that. The present popular messaging app Signal has warned AI agents come with a significant risk to privacy and security. Speaking at South by Southwest, Meredith Whitaker argued AI agents are being marked like a magic genie bot, which thinks many steps ahead and completes tasks for you. Your brain can just sit in a jar and you're not doing any of that yourself. Well, they say this comes at a cost. And although the use of AI agents is providing popular, he expresses a real danger with these bots because they require extensive access to data. I think we all kind of know that. Look at what DeepSeek is doing and how dangerous it is. But anyway, so you say you ask an AI agent to book a concert for you. This should be fairly straightforward task, but it does mean the AA agent would need access to your browser, your credit card information, your calendar, and even your messages to let friends know. That means that just one task, the agent now has access to your financial details, your day-to-day plans, your messages, which could be extremely damaging if the data fell into the wrong hands. So I think we have to be very, very careful with all of this stuff that's out there and determine at what level we feel comfortable for allowing these agents to have access to our data. YouTubers have been targeted in a blackmail campaign to promote malware on their channels, and I'm wondering how they're actually being blackmailed. Well, they're being threatened with copyright claims. And the way to resolve the problem is to share a download link. The link distributes Trojanized programs to install a crypto miner. So, cyber researchers at Kaspersky, which is banned in the U.S. right now, recently spotted the campaign in the wild, claiming the majority of the victims are Russian. It spotted a video with more than 400,000 views sharing the malicious link, and that the campaign resulted in more than 40,000 downloads before being pulled down. So it's called Windows Packet Divert, which is a very, very naughty application, and can do some serious damage when someone's connected to your computer. So interesting that YouTubers are using blackmail to get them to promote something. Very, very curious. I've been getting a lot of emails on toll road usage. It was kind of weird because I hadn't seen any in a while. And I went on a toll road about 3 days before I left for the Philippines. But now people are also getting fake parking tickets. So if you're getting an SMS message for a fake parking ticket or a toll, be very, very careful. When in doubt, go to your local municipality parking website and check and make sure your vehicle is not impacted. These are ways for people to get micropayments from you, $20 to $35 at a whack. And you send that out to 100,000 people, and 100 people react. Well, you've done well. Breaches continue. 560,000 people impacted across 4 health data breaches. Hillcrest Convalescent Center, Gastroenterology Associates of Central Florida, and Community Care Alliance and Sunflower Medical Group were affected. Data breach happened on January 7th, so you do give them credit for fast reporting. Showed that hackers had access since December 15th, but they've got access to a lot of data out there. So just if you're one of those groups, you'll probably be getting a letter from folks. Also, don't fall for a Trump coin offer. It's being used as in a malware campaign. Beyonce is being spoofed in an email campaign that uses up to 2,000 free Trump coins as lure, leading to installation of ConnectWise Rat and remote takeover of the victim's computer. So again, you're going to get something for free. That's probably too good to be true. So just be careful. All right. So we continue to wonder what's going to be the fate of TikTok. We're 50 days or so into the reprieve. And apparently there's 4 different groups talking to TikTok. So we'll see. They have 70, yeah, they got 25 days left. So we're going to see. We're going to see what happens here. And if that's a deal that gets done. So, folks, here at Geek News Central, it's always important for you to consider dropping us a note, geeknews@gmail.com. Don't forget to use one of those modern podcast apps and stream sats to the show. If you're still having issues streaming sats, let me know. Also, we accept Boost and also one-time donations at geeknewscentral.com/insider. I'm going to wrap things up here, and I'll be back with you on Thursday for another edition of the Geek News Central podcast. You all be safe. Take care. Let me know if you like how I'm doing the new format for the show, with the kickoff article being gone into in quite some detail before we get into any of the administrative stuff. Everyone take care. We'll see you next